Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Women in Mobility by Mobility Outlook. You join us today with Sabah Khan. She is the General Manager, Marketing and Communications for Honda Cars India Limited. Meet Sabah Khan, luminary in the field of corporate communications, whose illustrious career spans over 25 years. With a deep seated passion for storytelling and a keen eye for detail, Sabah has carved a niche for herself in the automotive industry, redefining the essence of brand communication and public engagement. Sabah's journey began with a commitment to excellence in brand advertising, media relations, and stakeholder engagement. Her profound expertise in public policy and brand marketing has not only elevated the brands she's worked with, but also set new benchmarks in how corporate narratives are shaped and shared. Saba's contributions to the field have not gone unnoticed. She has been honored as one of PR and corporate communications top 100 influential game changers in 2022 and secured a spot in E4M's top 20 communications professionals to watch out for in the same year. More than just a communication professional, she is a visionary leader whose influence transcends the conventional boundaries of comms. Through her dedication, Sabha continues to inspire a new generation of communicators, proving that with the right blend of innovation, integrity, and insight, one can indeed change the game. Hello, Sabha-san.
Hi,
Welcome to our channel.
thank you, Abhi. Thank you.
So let's start with your educational journey, your initial days, and then your subsequent, you know, journey towards joining the comms industry.
Right. So, my schooling has happened in Haridwar in a BHEL township. So I've thoroughly been in this, service industry continuously. And I finished my schooling class 12th, from there. And then I moved on to my another university, Aligarh University, where I did my graduation in zoology. Then somehow the communications thing and the overall working towards society started building up for me. And then I did my master's in social work, and eventually I started towards a road safety project for the auto industry. And that's how my journey began with the industry, and slowly and steadily I got into communications.
Right. So how was this journey? How, entry into the industry? I'm sure it was not exactly what you were hoping for coming from zoology, but what made you, what inspired you to enter into the communications industry?
Yeah, so I think in terms of the overall communication and command over any topic and getting into the details of that topic was part of my nature. And anything which I used to write or draft, which used to be kind of, I was very thoroughly preparing myself for it. So somehow, when I got into CM, I actually, my first job was for Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. So my bosses, saw this ability in me, and I got into communications role there. And I also took some legal work there. So a lot of drafting affidavits and everything for the auto industry. So a very good exposure I got there about how the industry functions, what is the kind of synergy which you need with government, which you need with other stakeholders, all vehicle manufacturers, how the basic industry is functioning. I got a good exposure. And that's how, comms is basically, communicating what the business is and, the nuances of that business. So it just came naturally after that.
Right. What if I take you back to your college days? How were you as a student?
So when I was in college, I this was my women's college, and it was a very new experience for me because I had been in a co-ed school for all my class 12 till class 12, and it was a new experience. But it also gave me newer perspectives of life. And I used to participate quite extensively in my college activities, etc. And living away from home was a different experience by itself. And then coming to Delhi and getting into another university for my masters, so that was my driving force which brought me to Delhi.
Right. So if I had to say, you know how social media and digitization has changed the industry completely. So how have you seen, because you've been in the industry for a long time, How have you seen this affect the communications industry?
Yeah, so I think it has really diversified. When the initially when we used to interact with, let's say, the media fraternity, it used to be a limited kind of participants, and this has really, the digital boom has really diversified, and there are so many online platforms, etc. How the packaging of the content has to be done according to those platforms, what is the kind of nature of audience which is coming in. So we are kind of progressing from very business like communication to a more interactive and more experiential kind of communication.
Right. So you've also taken role as towards marketing
Yes,
recently.
right,
So
right.
how has that changed your thinking?
Yeah, so I think in terms of communication, the kind of work remains the same. You have to bring out the best of your product and the services, and you present to the audience for that. However, as you rightly said, the digitalization has become so massive, and really how the entire business, the audience, where are they coming from, how are they comparing their respective products, where how can I tap those customers. So that is a newer perspective which I'm getting in the marketing area.
Right. So let's talk inspiration. Like we all have our heroes, right? Like if I had to mention mine, I have Leslie Porterfield and Sarah Lizito and Sabine Smith and even my sister Abhilasha. So who are yours and what have you learned from them?
So I think if my role mentors are mostly people whom I worked with. So my first boss was Mr. Rajat Nandi. So I think eye for detail was something which I learned from him, and he was very kind of he gave me the freedom, and he gave me that passion to work and pursue, to work in my own way. So he was my first boss and very, very special to me. Then every boss whom I worked with, my mentor was Anita Sharma. She was heading marketing communications. So again, I've picked up a lot of nuances from their way. And of course, my own family members. My mother is a very strong woman by herself, and we coming from a community where like there are not many women professionals. So it itself was a good motivation for me.
Right. Since you mentioned mom, so I have to ask you, how are you managing the work-life balance? Because you've been traveling a lot. I know. So how is that affecting, you as a professional and as a family person?
So I think as a family, we strike a good balance. We try to manage our travel schedule so that one of us, either me or my husband, are at home. During the other one traveling. I've got two boys. They are now growing up, both of them, and they are also quite supportive to me in my overall career. And my parents, my in-laws, so everybody, I think as a close-knit family, we've supported each other and pursued it nicely.
Sabasan, I have to ask you, what do women specifically bring to the table when it comes to communications?
So communications or the auto industry communications?
It's
Okay,
mostly the auto
okay,
industry because
right,
we've been,
right, right. So I think in terms of professionals, they both of them are very professional, men, women. There is no problem. Uh, I think it's a new perspective, more empathy, which someone brings to the table. The cohesiveness in the team. I love my team, and possibly they also love me. So this entire thing, and basically a fresh perspective, more detailing, sincerity. These are some of the traits which I feel have helped me.
right. I will also ask you, what were the challenges that you faced along this entire journey?
Challenges are for any kind of professional. No specific challenges as such. I was very fortunate to work in a team which was quite diverse. It had both male members and female members. So it was not that I had to really create a space for a women in the organization. So from that perspective, I was blessed. And over the period of time, I think the industry is focusing a lot on diversity, and that's a very happy, good development. And it basically brings a newer perspective and a charm to the work.
So, have you done more things to support your women colleagues furthermore?
Yeah. So as I said, the team itself has been, quite. We are well represented in terms of both male and female. That is one thing. So of course, people keep changing, and it's always been an endeavor that we have women in our organization in each of the respective departments. We've been on multiple panels which are focusing on women in my organization. So I've been part of them quite extensively. So interesting work and nice work.
Okay, what knowledge will you impart to your other colleagues, if I may ask?
So I think in terms of work, one is that working in an auto industry requires a lot of passion. Unless you love your cars or bikes, you can't really market them so well. So you need to have a lot of passion for the products. Second is, of course, in terms of communication, a very clear communication, easy to understand communication is something which I always focus on. Giving perspective not just from the inside to outside, but even the outside perspective to inside. It is a very important role for us as communicators to share that perspective from the external outside field to within our management, within our own internal stakeholders, so that we marry the desired objectives and what as an organization we are wanting to communicate. So that is a very important thing which I would like to focus for any other professional.
So do you think Honda Cars India has taken a bunch of initiatives to do this, to support this, or do you think this is just an industry-wide phenomena which everybody is doing?
So Honda as a company, the motto of the organization is that we want to be a company which society wants to exist. So each of our work area, whether it's in our product, whether it's in our services, or the way we conduct ourselves with any or the other stakeholders. So we want to be a trusted partner in mobility. So that is there, and there have been various kind of interventions. We are a very philosophy driven company. So there are two things. So one is the respect for individual, and the other is three joys. So respect for individual is that when I'm interacting with you, what is the kind of what kind of communication I'm doing with you, and you have your own perspective. I will value that perspective. And similarly, the team members which I have, they have their own perspective. We must value their perspective. The second thing is the three joys. So joy of creating, which is for our manufacturing workforce. So each of us really imbibe that joy in creating best kind of products. Second is joy of selling, which is for our dealer partners and us as in marketing professionals, the kind of joy which we get in selling our product. And eventually joy of buying, which is for our customers. So all these three joys have to come together. And this particular philosophy is like, people live this philosophy in Honda, and we are very proud to work towards it.
Thank you, Sabasan. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you again on our platform.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.